So I'll start with the top three things, and then if the elevator's still going, then I'll hit with the final two, because there are up to 5 factors that we like to talk about. The first is around empathy, which we kind of just touched on, which is when we communicate things, we want to communicate it in a Main Street way, number one. 2, we're a family business, and so we work with a lot of family businesses, and so we can bring that to them and that kind of touch. And we use us as the guinea pig on almost all the topics in order to get them to understand why a factor in their business is positive or negative, right? And because we can relate in so many different ways as well. So the first we're always going to lead with is empathy. Like, hey, I'm not just the mechanic anymore. I'm also driving the race car, so we understand what you're talking about, and we can be the mechanic. The second that we'll talk about is service, typically. You know, I'm forever scarred from an experience at a certain firm where I pick up a phone. You know, this is back when we had the landlines, and this client was extremely unhappy. A lot of vulgar words coming out through the other end, and I'm just taking notes. Yes, sir. You know, how can I? You know, what can I? You know, and turns out that this poor soul was trying for his life to get a hold of the owner and could not. And so he was fighting a phone tree just to get to anyone. And turns out that owner had just left on this big golf trip overseas and this and that. And I remember I walked down to their office and again, just left. And so but the level of voicemails wouldn't make sense for having been just left. And so I've always been forever scarred of, you've got to have at least a next business day mindset in terms of communication, regardless of what platform. And so that's what we mean by service. Any of our clients or centers of influence can email us, text us, voicemail. Doesn't matter what platform you use. You'll hear from us within one business day, even if it's to say, hey, I see you need a response on when this will be due. We'll get back to you on Monday to answer that exact question. Right? You're going to hear from us. And then the third thing is around agility. In my business, while you're hiring me, it's generally something that is short-term or intermediate term, generally. Yeah. You can't wait forever. The insight you need is such that you have to have it to make the decision. And so you don't always have months and months and months to wait. And so we have to, and I'll usually point to COVID. Once COVID happened and we all went home, and once things kind of settled out and business started taking off again, the lead times from our peers, firms, were just incredible. And it's because they always took a chicken or the egg mentality when it came to hiring folks, which is, well, let's wait till the absolute last second and then we'll go hire, right? Whereas I always took the opposite approach. If we found the perfect person for our team, even though we maybe don't exactly have the revenue there, then I like having my back against the wall. We'll revenue our way there, but let's not lose this such a player asset, right? And so because of that and that mindset, that's created a certain agility level for us where we can deliver results regardless of what happens, COVIDs or otherwise, that stay consistent through the tests of time, 30 to 60 days. We won't elongate this or price gouge our clients in those times of uncertainty, like what was going on. So I always hit with those three: empathy, service, and agility. Yeah. If there's still time on the elevator, then I'll hit them with what I call the under the hood effect, as well as the network. And what I mean by those is once you become a client, you get complete access to our entire network. Of the thousands of people that we've interacted with and had, seen in our clients' companies, advising on them, they get, if they have a business problem, we will connect them to someone who has done that. And we don't get kickbacks for this. And we don't have the reciprocity payments, all that kind of stuff. And so they get access to that network. And then the under the hood effect relates to that race car analogy that I'm talking about. Is part of the benefit of getting to work with us isn't just like, well, here's your answer. The answer was high or the answer was low. Yeah. So then they know what to do and move on. It's a bit beyond that. It's kind of, here are the factors that led to that high or low answer. And then we always follow it up with, do you want to change these? And if you do, all this experience we have from working with these other clients, who their advisor teams are, what softwares they're using in what ways, we can bring that under the hood effect of why their race cars are out beating these other cars to bring into you, as long as it's not proprietary. Certain things we can't, but a lot of stuff is just off the shelf kind of things that are there for the taking. So it's those 5 things on why we feel everybody should work with us.